So I've been wanting to make this video for a while now on how to overcome the dark days as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, because I think from the outside, everything is, everything seems so shiny. Everything seems so like pitch perfect when, you see someone that is like building an online business and things are going, the numbers are going up. Everything from the outside looking in seems like oh, that guy is like living the perfect life. But the reality is, I go through, like for me, for example, like with my coaching business, I go through a lot of days which are just really dark. They're really shitty. And I wanted to actually talk about how you can get through all of that, right? Because it's so fucking hard when you're in the middle of it, right? When you're building something, I feel like you can get into this like space where like your friends cannot really relate to you, your family cannot really relate to you. So what ends up happening is you're kind of like stuck in this mode of like, does it like actually make sense, right? Like what I'm doing right now, does it make sense? Or am I just going insane? And at least like honestly, because I want this video to be super honest and super raw, this is how I feel like a lot of the time. Like even when we're signing new clients for my coaching business, even when, things are on the surface level going great, I feel like I still have a lot of days which are like really dark. And the issue is to try like unpack this, right? The issue is you're literally like as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you're going against the wave, right? You don't have a set plan. You don't even know if what you're doing makes sense, if it's the right thing, if it's going to be successful or not. You don't know if you will see the other side, like the light at the end of the tunnel. You don't know. So because there's so much uncertainty, I think you have like, at least for me, I have a lot of days in which my brain literally goes into this mode of like, am I going to make it? Like, does this make sense? Am I good enough to make it? Am I good enough to build something that has an impact, to build a business that is like truly successful? Or am I just like lying to myself? Am I lying to my family, to my friends? What am I doing here? And mind you, I'm every day like connected, like locked in. But that's the thing, is like when you're going against the wave, against the norm, like 9 to 5, like go to college, do the 9 to 5, all of that, like you're bound to just dive into this entire like uncertainty, right? The unknown. And that can literally make you go crazy. So how do you overcome the dark days? My biggest thing that I'm applying like nowadays is I'm constantly thinking that I'm like so close to the dream life that I'm building. I'm so close. And at every step of the way, I feel like every single day is a test. Every fucking day is a test for you to see, like, it's almost like, the universe, like God is testing you, like, okay, can he make it through this shitty day right here? Can he be grateful for the things that he's already attained or not? And every single day, what I do, like when I get the dark days, every single day I try to remind myself, first of all, of the reason, of the why behind it all, why I started this in the first place. And then I'm like constantly thinking about, the dream life that I'm building, not only for myself, not only for my family, my friends, but also for the clients that I'm working with as well. It's like the impact. And I go through like a lot of moments, honestly, when like my brain goes into this mode of like, what if you don't make it, right? What if what if you're not going to build the dream life that you want with your business? What if like the business fails? Okay, like you made 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 bucks right now, but can you do that next month? Can you do that like next week? So I constantly have to like fight the mind. But again, I remind myself of why I started this in the first place. Because let me tell you a story. Like, I started before like this, I was always like an entrepreneur. You guys may already know it by now, like if you've watched the channel, but I was always like this creative kid. And I always created stuff. Like ever since I was in second or third grade, I was making magazines for kids, hustling those, making tattoos. Then I made music for like so long. But after I dropped out of college, I actually moved to the UK and I lived in Wales and I worked in the Amazon warehouse. So I was a warehouse worker, and it wasn't like, it was so bad, so traumatizing for my brain to like be in that kind of environment. But looking back on it, that actually that gave me the best possible perspective, because in these dark days that I may have from time to time, because again, it's not all pretty, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, it's not all just like driving Lambos to Dubai, right? In these dark days, I remind myself of those days, like back then, when I was in the warehouse, when I was pushing boxes around, when I was like organizing things on shelves, literally feeling like I'm going insane. And so I remind myself also, like what I do is like I remind myself of the really bad times in my life. And then I put that into perspective. And then I'm like, bro, you're literally here. Like the progress is just amazing. And look, the dark days, I realized they're probably never gonna go away to a degree. Like no matter how successful you are, your brain is going to get in that mode, right? And look, the reason can vary. Like for me, a lot of the time is this thing where like I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I don't ever feel like, okay, today, for example, I worked on a lot of new content. We're preparing like this workshop in the weekend. I had a coaching call. I had another call with a client. I had a writing session, an ideation session, research. Now I'm doing this, and after I finish this, after I close the camera, my brain is gonna go, dude, like you haven't done enough, right? So a lot of the times I have this like thing in my brain where I'm like, I'm not good enough. Like I have to push harder. And sometimes if I really let it like slip, I go into this mode of like, what the fuck am I doing? Like nothing makes sense. And that is the really like dark moment that sometimes I catch myself in. And it's hard. Like it's really hard. Like whenever, like I remember when I had a 9 to 5, when I was in the warehouse, when life was kind of like simpler, I basically had someone or like something to tell me like do this, do that, like right, like tasks, and it was easy to a degree, right? But now, like as a business owner, as a full-on business owner, nobody really tells me what to do. So every day I have to make decisions for the business. And that's also like the pressure that comes with that is huge. And maybe I'm still on the way, and maybe I'm still learning how to control that pressure and how to actually use that for fuel. But the dark days are, from time to time, you get that dark day as an entrepreneur and it feels like shit. Because I know the trend right now on YouTube and, like on social media is to show like the flashy lifestyle and everything, which is cool. And it's definitely like it comes with the dinner, right? Like it is a part of it. But also like a huge part of all of this, building an online business and being a full-time entrepreneur, like a huge part are those like low moments, right? Those moments in which you feel like nobody actually gets you. Like you're alone in this world. And let me tell you, if you feel like that, you're not. But I know I have a lot of moments like that. And also like in those really low moments, like in which I feel like nothing ever makes sense and I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing. In those moments, as a business owner, I constantly think to myself that that day right there, that moment, that low moment, those negative thoughts, that's going to make for an amazing story one day. Let's say when I'm filming a podcast, when I'm talking to someone, when I'm talking to a client, because then I can use the pain that I've been through in that particular moment to help that person. And so also like right now, if you're in that moment of, if everything is shitty, everything feels like, like you're not seeing the right, the other side, the light at the end of the tunnel. If you're in that moment right now, try to remember that there are people out there, like your family, your friends, your loved ones, your clients, your business partners. There are people right now that actually need you. They need you to basically get your shit together and go after it. And like, again, there ain't like, this ain't no just sunshine and rainbows. You will have super dark days. You will have days in which you're just gonna say, you know what, I should probably quit. Like, I should just probably stop right now. But the key thing, at least for me so far, is to again remind myself of the reason I started, and constantly think that, honestly, it's just emotions. So you will have those really high ups, but those really low downs as well. But the low downs, try to like take those and really understand that in and of itself, like that low moment will be an insanely good story at one point, and then you can extract the lessons and the pain that came with that, and use it for the better. And as I'm filming this right now, you know what my brain is thinking? It's like, dude, like you're sitting here, like you're currently living the life that you wanted to live 1 year ago, and you still have these low moments. Like, what is the matter with you, right? But that's human nature, I guess. Because that's also a thought that I had, is like, I feel like it's never enough. Like, I don't honestly think I'm gonna have a moment a day in which I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like, wrap it up. Like, I'm satisfied. Like, I always want more. I always want to build more. I'm always looking to the like next milestone. Now I'm learning still, and I'm practicing this like actively, being grateful instead of just being anxious, because you cannot be both. I think it says that in the Bible, like you cannot be both grateful and anxious at the same time. But yeah, it's I don't think it's a matter of like it being enough, or I think it's just how, like, do you actually want to make progress? And if yes, you are bound to go through those shitty moments, dark times. Because it's also, a lot of people might sit here and tell you, just go talk to your friends. But what if your friends right now, what if your friend group isn't really doing what you're doing, right? They're going to be able to listen to you, but they're not going to be able to like really understand what you're actually going through. And a lot of the times, I'm not going to lie to you, you will feel and you will be alone by yourself, and you got to figure it out. You got to, like, in that dark moment, I feel like in that really low dark time, that's when the real hero is born, in the pain. Because if it's all sunshine and rainbows, if it's all like just driving Bugattis, Lambos, expensive dinners and stuff, if it's all that, then what's the fun in it, right? I recently went to Dubai. I want to move there this year, and I was thinking, like, man, like, I wouldn't be able to sit here and appreciate all of this that is happening right now had I not been through a lot of shit in my life. Like, those dark days, those dark moments are what's actually gonna make the good days worth it. Like, the dark times make the good times worth it. So I know it sounds cliche, but you cannot, like, what was that saying? Like, you cannot, if you pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too. So it's the same thing. You will have like a lot of low moments. And what I've noticed is that in this entrepreneurship game, in this, like, when you're trying to build something, when you're trying to go against the wave, if you're a college dropout right now, like me, if you're building a business, if you're in the middle of it, right? If you're in the middle, if you're in the chaos, if you're in the storm, nothing is going to make sense for a while. Nothing. Like, nothing. You're going to feel like, what am I doing? Is this even real? You're going to feel so much uncertainty. And we as humans, we're not built like that. Like, our brain is searching for something certain, something real. But when you're trying to create something from scratch, you don't have that. Like you don't have, like you threw away that perk when you like dropped out or like quit that job. But if you're here right now still listening, I feel you. Like I really do. And again, it's not easy. But if it would, you know what, like I constantly tell myself in those low moments, like you're in the middle of it. You signed up for this. Like you cannot get the benefits, you cannot get that lifestyle, you cannot get the dream life, you cannot put your mom and dad into a Greece home, which I want to do. You know, you cannot like um, take care of all of your friends. You cannot have that lifestyle that you want without these low moments. Like these, just like in a video game, these are parts of the journey. They come with the dinner. And a lot of people, I feel like online, they just look at this lifestyle and they want the pretty stuff without the ugly stuff. And that's why like it doesn't, like that doesn't work, because you cannot dodge the, you know, the dark days. You can only learn how to deal with them. And also, and I'll try to end on this because you know, you guys know that I love to talk a lot, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I should do it more, but um, try to use the dark days as fuel as much as possible. Like that's also what I have is like, for example, last week I had a really shitty, I don't know, I had for like a couple of days, I felt really shitty. And now I'm looking back and I'm actually trying to use that as fuel, as in, okay, I felt shitty. Let me now take that and convert that. Like, if I felt mad, for example, try to like convert that into energy so that I could put into this, so that I don't feel as shitty anymore, like those days. And it's not always as easy. It's not always as like, you know, it works instantly. It's definitely like practice to it. You got to practice, but trying to use every single low moment and pain as fuel to build the life that you desire is the ultimate hack, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's, you know, if you actually want to build something bigger than yourself, that will take a lot of sacrifice, and it will take a lot of moments in which you will be tested. And I feel like the best thing in those moments is gratitude. The best thing, like trying as much as possible. I know it's easier said than done, but like trying as much as possible to be grateful for the things that you already accomplished, because that's what I'm actively learning right now. I tend to just brush off what I've accomplished last year and already kind of like feel like disappointed this year if I didn't like hit a milestone or whatever, but that's just like bullshit in the mind. What matters is that you keep on going every single day, like every single day. If you show up every day, regardless if it's a dark day, regardless if it's a really like shitty low moments and you don't feel like it, if you just show up, then you're bound to win in the long run. And again, for a long time, especially if you're starting out as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, for a long time, it will not make sense. It will feel like you're not doing the right thing, and you won't know if it's the right thing for a long time. But if you really like feel it in your soul, if you really feel that what you're doing has the potential to work, then keep at it. And the only thing, look, the only thing that the dark days will do, as long as you don't quit, they will arm you with lessons. They will give you something that you can take and again, apply that to help others. Take the pain and use that to help others. So I don't know like how long this video is, but hopefully that makes sense, because I'm, you know, I'm seeing like when, as I'm building this life, and like I'm seeing how a lot of people, even like my friends, they don't really like, they don't really understand how much this takes out of you, like the amount of sacrifice, the amount of long days and nights in which, for example, you were sitting with a camera filming, not, you know, they don't know that, like especially if they're living like a regular type of life, and that's perfectly fine. They shouldn't perfectly understand you either way. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that it's definitely challenging. it takes a lot of you, and it's not for everyone. But I feel like if you're like me, if you have that, that flame within you, I call it the flame. Like, if you know for sure you cannot go to a 9 to 5 job, if you know for sure you're destined to build something great that can help people and that can disrupt the market and that has true value, then it is your duty, not only to yourself, but also to the people that believe in you, to actually make it happen. So I guess I'll end this video like this. You will have a lot of dark days. You will have a lot of dark moments. Take them, use them as fuel, and remind yourself at every point of the journey of why you started in the first place, and paint that picture in your mind of the life that you're actually building, because you're closer than you think.